So today is December 6th. It's our first call in December. Um, we've been going at this for 15 months, 16 months. Wait, 16 months. Consistently. That's pretty incredible. I did have to count on my fingers, by the way. You didn't see that. I was like August, September, October, November. So today's our first call in December at a new time. So we're trying this out to see if it might make a difference with people and people's availability to come play with us and participate. Some it will not work for them at this new time, and some new people it will work for them. So as always, I'm really getting that the whole point of it is for us to just keep the energy of a conversation of healing and expansion and the collective and whatever that looks like. So I thank you all that that have, been here all along, and those that come in and out, and like Vicky, but she's, when you're back, and it's always awesome to have you. And Milena, I believe this is your second time on the call, but welcome. And what else do I want to say? So Shannon, this was part of why we also shifted it to 1 o'clock. So I'm not sure, I haven't heard from her, but I know she's also doing interviews and she's got some other stuff going on in that whole Angel Awakening series. And so she's expanding in a different way, and that might also circle back to here, right? So it all kind of comes together. So I'll share really quickly, and then I would love to hear what's been happening. Vicky was just sharing something. So I'll have you on deck if you're comfortable with that, or if you'd rather wait till you get to the water, then you can share as well. And either way is fine. All right, so I'll share and then we'll check in. So my share is going to be quick, but it is it's about listening to our guides. So Saturday, I was supposed to DJ a big party, and it was a Christmas party and birthday party. And this is my soul brother, like I consider him part of Soul Family. And I've DJ'd a lot of their parties. And as I was and then I messaged him and said, like, I put a lot of pressure on myself when I DJ, and like, I'm not feeling like I want to do that tonight. Like I want to do that to myself, and this can't be stressful this evening. Like it just needs to be fun. And so he really framed it fine. And then as I got out of the shower, I got sick. I threw up, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, what is that about? So then I was like, well, I'm gonna meditate for a little bit. So I rested and meditated for like 2 hours to a beautiful 432 Nikola Tesla frequency meditation. And I'll share it in the group as well. It was really lovely. And I woke up and I felt really restored and I felt good. And I was like, I feel good. I'm gonna go. So my guides were trying to tell me, like, stay home. This is not your vibe. And the hosts of the party were like, oh, it's just a party. Your health and well-being is the most important thing. Rest and take care, So I even had the like, okay of the hosts, that they were like, it's totally fine. Do it feels good. So was some conversation for me of like missing out, like I didn't want to miss out. But then also there was a gathering, a women's gathering on Thursday of about 60 women. And it was coined like all the badass women we know, right? So it would have been beautiful to be in this divine feminine energy. And at the same time, I wasn't feeling like I had the energy. I worked a double, 11, 111, I mean, 111. Woo. I'm so used to 11. Bing, bing. I'm gonna do my new 111, all is well. You won't hear the circle of it. I'm just gonna do that part. And there was like, I didn't feel like I had the energy to generate to go be in a crowd of 50 to 60 women that I didn't know, even though it might have been a great opportunity and to be surrounded by, amazing women. So there was this conversation with myself of like, I don't have the energy or something, or like, I don't. And so at this party on Saturday, the gist of it is that I I ended up DJing anyway, but like not on my decks, not on my system. I was DJing on my phone because it was like, so it was just like a total DJ nightmare, right? Like I'm trying to do it, and everybody wasn't, except for like a couple of people who didn't stay long, was in an altered state, and I was not at the same vibration that they were at. I was not as excited as they were. And so I'm trying to like find the music, right? And this is like total DJ nightmare. Like my dance floor is empty. People are like, can you play something else? Like it's this younger crowd that's totally entitled. A lot of them are dancers. There was like a pole, like a stripper pole. And so a lot of them are pole dancers, and that's the co-host. And so they were like, can you play this song? I was like, sure, I'll play something. So then they'll dance. And then they would take my phone and just put it on and like interrupt mid-song. And I was like, well, you could have waited till the song finished, But what did happen was there was one woman who I'm not sure what she was on, but she had a little bit of a existential crisis and ended up, her and I in the room, and she was just sobbing. And she's like, I'm so sorry that you're the one that has to witness this. I'm like, I'm not. This is what I'm here for. I can hold space. Give it to me. Like, let it go. Give it to me. Right. So that might have been the whole reason I was at that party, was this woman's healing. And I did do some energy work, but part of why I'm sharing it is like the conversation between our like human self and our higher self, and the, I don't know the word for it. I'm going to say need, but that's not what I mean. Like the opportunity to really connect when we're having those moments of like, should I, shouldn't I? Is this really like, like letting our higher self really take the wheel. And also wanting to find out from people if others are experiencing this, of like, I'm feeling the need to not be as social, which for me is really uncommon, because I love to be in the middle of a crowd, and particularly in a dance floor. But maybe there's a shift to really being aware of the energy of the crowds that we're engaging with. I don't know, like I'm open to that, the feedback on that.
Hey Jules, I actually want to comment on this. I didn't mean to interrupt, so if you're not complete, I definitely will stop.
Thank you. Hi
everybody, so glad to be back on. It's been a crazy month for me. Anyway, what you're talking about, I've actually noticed in people who are acting completely out of character from one moment to the next. Like let's say that they're a loving being, and then all of a sudden from one moment to the next they completely shift. And I've noticed this actually with a lot of people around me, around in my circle, how fast they've shifted. Now, I mean, that actually, we could be picking up on that energetically and thinking to ourselves, there's this shift happening that we don't know what's going on. So we want to cocoon ourselves. We want to not be in the crowds where all of this is happening, or we're instinctively saying we need to make sure that we're not in these massive groups or whatever during this shift, because this is, I mean, I've lost relationships, I've lost friendships, I've lost everything in the past week from people just completely acting out of character and flipping.
Mm.
So I don't know if anybody else has been experiencing that, but it's definitely been my experience in the past week.
Fortunately, I haven't experienced that, but I was just processing in the last couple of days, weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I love to be active and go out and do things and be around people and all of that. But lately I've just been very happy here at home in my little quiet private space.
Mhm.
I had a bunch of friends over and spiritual people like us, and we had a cards night, and that was awesome. But like I used to have this, like, you know, it's a beautiful day, we got to go out and do stuff and experience things and be active and all of that. And lately I haven't felt that way. It's the opposite. And so maybe that's in part due to this. I think in part too, there's something about this time of year, this season, and the drive to sort of hibernate and
Mhm.
go into your you know, hidey hole and be quiet and rest, which I think is correct for this period for a lot of us. So that's just been my experience, the shift within myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you guys are. Oh, sorry, Troy, were you getting ready to talk?
I have a couple
You
things to say, but if you want to
go
talk first, go ahead.
ahead. You go ahead. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. So just from my perspective as a hypnotherapist, 2 years ago, like late fall, early winter, I was having some serious seasonal affective disorder, and that was right after the walk-in happened, and so I lost all sense of myself. My heart felt like a void, and everything was just really dark as I was adjusting to this body. And um, yeah, I was still repeating a lot of the same negative stories and just negative beliefs and things about what I can and can't do. Um, and yeah, it was a tough time for me. But last winter, I had absolutely no seasonal affective disorder, and I still don't after much shadow work and hypnotherapy and clearing of emotions and all those stories and stuff that was there before. And so if that's happening with people just because of associations, then that can be healed. Although I do understand that with shifting energies on the planet, that's bringing up stuff for people to pay attention to. But I've also seen both people acting differently, I think, in multiple ways, as well as more recently in my life, it seems like several things within about a day or two time span just sort of, it almost feels like they fell into place or like majorly clicked together to suddenly be um, just come into manifestation already, and in a big way too.
Mm. Thank you. All right, Milena, and you're up next, Vicky, if you're not at the water.
So I always like to talk like collectively and universally in this space. It really opens those channels for me.
Yep.
So whatever I say, just know that it's all okay. Like we all know that everything's always okay, right? And everything's
Yeah.
here for our highest good. So recently what I have been sensing on the outside of our planet is a lot of shifts happening from universal energy hitting us, like pretty hard, being
Mhm.
hard hit. And what I'm getting from that, and this goes into what a lot of you were just speaking of, is stillness. So as these energetic waves are hitting our fields, we're going to be forced into stillness, because we've learned now that when we can center ourselves, the outer world can just kind of storm around us. Like the waves can crash, the tornadoes can hit, but yet we can still be still and allow the outer world to pretty much collapse. And I say this, I'm just saying this because I'm just saying it. You know, nothing is really ever true or 100%, but feeling like we're going to be really forced into to practice stillness right now, because our hearts are what really need to be blasted open in this next wave of shifting. And unfortunately, what I'm getting is the only way to blast our hearts open into oneness is to grieve. So a lot of, I think, what I'm feeling is practicing stillness for being able to hold the space for the hearts of so many people. You know, because what breaks you down and opens your heart more than, I mean, it's love. However, it's love forced upon us in a different way than we like to say it. So that love maybe may start coming through when we start to grieve for the world. So I guess what I'm really feeling collectively is to be still, and know that when the outer world is starting to storm and rage, our energy is the only thing that's going to calm that down. And for the rest of the world, you know, we practice our hearts and we practice love. The collective does. But I'm talking about the rest of humanity who hasn't really quite been shaken yet. And I just I feel grounded in that. I feel really confident in what I'm saying. It just still hurts my heart to say it. But these waves that are hitting us now, it's almost like the waves are here to blow out grids that, you know, our egos have created. It's almost like blowing out timelines that have been created. Just really, really being shook. Like a big, you know, when I say like a big shakeup, it feels like this time it's going to be one from the heart, so that our hearts can really be cracked open and really love, like really truly love each other. But it seems as though at this point in time, the way that I see it, that love is going to emanate is through loss. So I'm kind of, it's like doom and gloom. However, we know that when that love unites, that is actually what we're creating. That's when we talk about this new earth. So it's like, we know that that's where we're headed, but there's going to be love is going to be forced upon us at this point, because we really have kind of fucked that up. So I think that the isolation part is really just a time, like when you feel like I shouldn't go there, I shouldn't do this, or I don't feel like it. Use that time to practice stillness and you know, just focus on your energy collapsing tornadoes and storms around us. I think that's really where I was going with this.
Thank you. So
Thank
Vicky, I'm gonna interject. I know I said you were next, but I want to interject. So thank you for that, Milena, because there was a lot of confirmation for me in what you just said. So my path has been opening up dialogue about the process of grief and loss. And it's been since 2015 that it's been my own personal journey. And since about 2019, where I was like, this needs to be something that I offer people, or like and so my experience with that woman at that party on Saturday was and when I say I think as healers, and what I'm hearing you say as well, is this ability to, I don't quite know the words for it. Like I was about to say, like, be a container for, a hold space for, but there's not a like shell on it. It's infinite space for, but the ability to like a death doula who like rows the person home and like helps them cross, is like a grief doula is the word. And I know there is such a thing that exists, but it's like someone who guides you and assists you and holds you in love while you release this. And I created a like Thanksgiving bountiful bargain special, my version of a Black Friday. And I've been doing a bunch of readings, and in the last probably like 5 sessions that I've had with people, heart work has come into it. And it happened on Saturday with Aaron, the party host. My friend and I were doing tuning forks on him. And so very early on here on this call, 2 things came through. They came through me. And one was like it opening up the back side of the heart. So when a lot of people work on the heart, they're working up here. So that's come up in the last 3 sessions that I've had, of like, no, the backside needs to be open so that there's this like open flow of heart. And then the session yesterday, what came out was, let your heart break your heart wide open. Like, let it have you be more present, more open, more loving, more compassionate, more alive. Because the tendency of humans is to withdraw and retract and like shield, and this heartbreak is too much. I can't handle it. You can totally handle it. We can all totally handle it. And but some people will need someone who holds them in a loving energy while they're handling it. And there's a lot of, I think, human beings that are about to be experiencing that. And you spoke to that, Milena, and I totally agree. And then the other part of it is that part of what came through this call after opening up the back side of the heart was a process that I call the Metatron Infinity heart opening. And it's that same open backside of the heart, but it's the infinity symbol that comes through as like golden Metatron light, and then it comes up and down, vertical, horizontal, and then like horizontal crossways and front and back. And what I was shown yesterday when I was guided to do heart work was that the breath starts like if you think of a heart, like a design of a heart, there's a peak at the bottom, and then it comes up and it peaks again. You know, there's the 2 parts of the top, and there's a top peak. And that the bottom peak was like like in the sternum, like for women, it's right below your breasts, like kind of right in between. And that's where the breath starts. And then it comes up over kind of underneath the shoulders, the armpits, the backside of the head, and then comes back and peaks. But it comes through the backside and then continues to meet the original peak. So I still haven't like quite figured out how to explain this in process, but that's how it was shown me yesterday. It was like starts here, comes around, comes back here, and then goes back down to start again. And it's with the breath. So like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So like the infinity symbol or like orbital breathing, it is like the desired goal is one breath. Like it's seamless, I should say. Inhale, exhale happens seamlessly. So I will be bringing that process forward for sure. Is there anything else to say about that? Yeah, there's a Rumi quote that I often share as well. And it's something like, in like, to be fully in your heart, it has to fully break open. I'm paraphrasing that poorly. I'll have to find it. But there's going to be the last thing I'll say, and then Vicky, thanks for your patience, is all of the QHHTs that I've been listening to and the BQHs, which is Beyond Quantum Healing, they're all talking about the event. They're all talking about this like huge shift where a mass amount of people at once are potentially going to transition. And it's been supposedly going to happen for at least 10 years now. But, you know, we keep getting the soon, it's coming. And I think in the space of that, there's going to be a lot of grief that is there to be transmuted. So, however we can prepare ourselves for that. And I think stillness is so I share them sometimes on the group. Milena asked in the chat, if you got, in case you don't see it, where can you listen to QHHT? So I'll send some links. There's a couple people that I listen to pretty consistently, and they always have incredible information. One in particular that that I listen to, and then I'm getting certified in level 1 of QHHT, and so I'm watching, you know, videos of Dolores Cannon, and there's actually a live thing on Fridays with Julia Cannon, Dolores's daughter, and another gentleman. Yeah, so I think I'm complete. I'm just, thanks for holding space for me to just kind of share out loud with that. Okay, Vicky, so thanks for your patience. And then I'm sure there's more to say now. And then Gina, I saw you were playing with cards. If you want to, if you have anything to share after that, I'd love it.
No, Jules, so right. Feeling all of the realizations that are coming to you as you speak them. You know, that dropping into the words being said in the moment and having that realization that I'm absolutely feeling the level of the grief, you know, in myself and in others around me, and the call, and on a daily basis, like at just very strange times, it's happening, where like I will have to stop my day and sit with someone in a similar way. And because the the present moment, like this idea of the stillness, we keep going back to being called into stillness, to be absolutely entrenched and entwined and enamored and completely accepting of the moment that we're in, like the depth of the now. and what it actually might feel like to completely resonate in that feeling of oneness, in being one with the trees, the plants, the rocks, like that indescribableness, right? That now the door has been open is what I've been feeling all day, being in and out of a place where my own grief has been surfacing to the point of absolutely what you both said, Milena and Jules, that the feeling of complete, how much it breaks your heart, how much the heart must completely crack. And then what are we? It's like there's something that will happen to everyone, and when or how or who many or what groups are together, like that is unknown and may be completely unknown forever until we're in it deeper. But yeah, the what I'm feeling is the shifting between what I'm experiencing in one present moment is and can be absolutely completely different than what someone else is experiencing who's sitting right next to me.
Right.
So, and because I keep going back to God and I want to know and keep asking God, please show me where, when, how did I lose my heart? When did it happen? Please show me, show me, show me, to be pulled back to a baby and the times where I was trying to be not me, to be loved. And that keeps coming back and back and back. That my heart was, I don't know the word, like what's the word when the pirates come and they take your booty?
like pillage?
Yeah, like there was a pillaging of my heart that happened and kind of slowly through my whole life, and not realizing that I kept doing it over and over until now it's the time, like claim your heart. And that's just where I've been, is okay, where is my heart in all this? When did I lose my heart? And to be able to go to God and ask, and there was an amazing light transmission from a woman here in Sarasota last night who works with the names of God and Metatron and also some higher beings. And she called in so much support that I made the prayer, show me, show me. And this morning I got completely dumped on. So to be able to ask and get an answer is like, oh boy, you guys are right here. You're sitting with me. I just need to like realize that my guides are here, my angels, and all of ours are here. We are so supported right now. Those of us who are here to do the work to open our own hearts and other people's hearts, like the space holders, we are so completely supported. So just know that. I mean, like I know it's in this group and all the people that are here. I feel like an amazing bubble of support right now, but I always do on this call. So wanting to share that as well.
Thank you. May I interject, Gina? I love this because I get so inspired when everybody shares. It's like, I'm like, oh, right, thank you. Like, it's a one conversation. So I loved what you said about claim your heart. Like, I think that's the theme right now, is claim your heart. And so it led me to share two things. I'm guided to share two things that Kuan Yin, as you know, is my primary guide. And she's been around me always. She's always around me. However, sometimes she's not the front runner. Like as I work with other angels and archangels and but she's always there. And in the last 3 sessions I've had, she has guided me to do the drink from the emerald fountain, which is drinking from the heart center of Kuan Yin. And the woman that I did the session for yesterday was talking about not being able to see that green, like not being able to see that green heart light. And so I was like, okay. So we were talking a little bit, and then finally I said, have you ever been at a concert and they've used green lasers? And she immediately smiled and said and nodded yes. And I was like, okay, great. And I'm like, and it was like one of your favorite bands, like it was, you're with all these people and you're like listening to this music. And she's like nodding. And I said, okay, so Kuan Yin's emerald fountain for you is that green laser light. And so I'm sharing this because for some people, we're going to have to kind of come in the side door to have them get it, to have them open up to it. So, so there's that. And then as far as Ho'oponopono, which I'm also a big advocate and fan of, is and this goes back to as well something that a course that I did many years ago. It's been at least a decade, and they call it noble healing, where it's you offer the apology that they never got or never will get. And so there's something about Ho'oponopono has been showing up that way when I'm allowing myself to be a channel for the healing of Ho'oponopono is I'm so sorry. And the phrase is, I'm so sorry for all the ways your heart was not honored. So I have like bumps all over saying that, right? So I'm offering you that phrase of like, it might start showing up as a way of us when we're in sessions with people, when we're offering healing, when we're like engaging with people, even in a dialogue, is like, if what they're sharing is an illustration of their heart space, their heart, their love not being honored, offer that apology. Like, gosh, I hear that was really painful for you. And like, I'm so sorry that your heart wasn't honored in that moment. That might be the one sentence that shifts everything. That might be all they need to hear. So, yeah, that's huge. That's huge because it's just the acknowledgement of it. And the apology of, because our hearts are so tender, but our hearts are also our connection to source, right? Like this is our connection to source energy. So when we protect our heart, when our human protects our heart, is because it's been, in the experience, it hasn't been honored, or it's been wounded. Like our hearts are wounded. So we're not going to let that happen again. I'm going to put this shell up. Right? That simple phrase of, I'm so sorry that your heart wasn't honored, could be all that needs to happen or hear to have that heart open. Sorry, that was that was not just me, by the way. In case you didn't get that.
I love that you pointed that out, and how do we do this for ourselves? Yeah. If there is no one else to do it, we are the ones, we are the parent, we are reparenting our own child now, right? Like how I could say that, and had to say that this morning to myself. I'm so sorry this happened. I'm sorry to myself, to my inner child.
Well, that's really Ho'oponopono. It's not about the other person at all. Ho'oponopono is always here. Like if I If I'm triggered by something you do, then there's something in me that is also that, or that sees that. And so it's always over 100% responsibility, and Ho'oponopono lies over here where I am, where you are. And so that's perfect that you're offering that to yourself. That's how it's designed, really. Is you clear over here, and then that's going to clear over where other people are. So I noticed that both Troy and Milena came off mute. So go for it.
We're on the same wavelength, Troy.
I think we are.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say a little bit quickly. Wow, for a bit now, everything that Jules and Vicky and Milena and Shannon have been saying have been really spot on, especially about heart healing. And in my Reiki 1 sessions with myself recently, and just recently in my hypnotherapy too, I've been getting that I really need to open the back of my heart center more too, to be able to have a balance of front and back, because that is part of the energy anatomy of the chakras in the body, is that we have a front side of our chakras that's more projective towards what we're looking at, and the back side of all the chakras are the more receptive type, which I've learned we can actually breathe in and out of. Anyway, thank you, Jules, for that last bit about noble healing. And I think that's actually exactly the message I needed to hear today. Actually, not so much on a human level, but to heal the land I'm on. And yeah, Milena, one thing that I did get from what you were saying is that I've been feeling the grief of the land I'm on recently, and it's not just all the time, it has come in shocks, like feels like electrical shocks of emotion. It's really horrible and heavy, things I've felt, and then had to delineate what it is. But yeah, some horrible stuff on this land. I'm actually now healing for the land. So thank you all.
We can do a cosmic groove there. We can have a raise the vibration dance party and transmute it.
Oh, let's do that, Jules. I think that's what the land needs.
I'd totally be down.
It's an apartment complex, but that might work.
We'll figure it out. We'll do it in the parking lot.
There's a street nearby that is public property, so one way it will work.
Cool. We'll figure it out. Let's figure out a time.
Cool.
All right, Milena, go for it.
Well, Troy, that's a big job. And that's great of you to be in such service like that, just to even recognize what's needed. And I think that's beautiful. So I just want to share that. Two things came to mind when Jules was talking about the shape that you were describing around the heart, the back. And when you said the color green, now I don't know if this has happened for others. This is new for me, and I just don't know if this is kind of something that is going to be new for a lot of us. When I have gone into my meditation, and I have been able to go in very deep, just connected by cord only, I have noticed the colors of the chakras are a pale color, and they are all wrapped in that kind of shape, almost like all energy around the chakras in that kind of shape everywhere, in every which direction, here, there, like maybe like coming into like a Merkaba almost. And the white light that is coming from that shape and that energy around the chakras has almost made my chakra colors very pale. however very bright, with the white light that's emanating from those shapes that are all around the chakras. And this is very new for me. I haven't experienced seeing myself this way. But now that I think about it, it could just be part of the whole upgrading process, that now so much light is able to enter, that these energetic fields are actually forming and shaping around my, to me, they're inner universes. They're their own universes. So to me, it's like now I myself have this energetic field around my own universes inside. So I just wanted to share that. When you said the green, I thought, oh my gosh, my green got so pale. But it got pale because there's so much white light around it. So you just made me think of that. That's all I wanted to share. And again, everyone could see their chakras or inner universes like this. Maybe this is just, a new thing for me up in my journey. But if y'all start to see that, just know that.
Well, there's different versions of that. I mean, there's, on an earlier call, like the chakras have been changing. And I know Gina has a lot to speak on chakras for sure, is that, how I hear that is that you're seeing more of your light body. And it is like these little universes. It's like these little like energy orbs, and it's no longer individual energy centers. Like that's how our humans learned it as chakras, as a way to engage with that energy and relate it. But it really is like one cylinder of energy. And then there's like little constellations along the way, that maybe that are our little cosmos, little like orbs that are the chakras. That's super exciting. I love it. And I love that you're seeing so much white light. It's like, it's so juicy. Okay, Gina.
So much to say. So
Take
yeah,
us home. You've got the whole rest of the time.
I'm going to circle back to the Ho'oponopono, because I was just talking to a client right before this about that, and she's been using it when she gets triggered. She has a lot of judgment. She knows a lot of victimhood mentality, a lot of that kind of thing constantly going in her mind. And so we're talking about ways to master her self-talk and thereby master her energy. And so she was doing Ho'oponopono to the person who had triggered her, or the situation that had triggered her. And so I suggested she add a second step of Ho'oponopono for herself, for being what she views as imperfect, because that's part of her cycle too, getting mad at herself because she's supposedly this evolved being, and yet keeps doing these 3D human behaviors. So I liked the balance of forgiving myself for being human, and also forgiving the other person for and the way they affected the individuals. There's that. And then with regard to the chakras, Milena and everybody, I think I shared maybe 2 weeks ago about how my chakras have been changing. So a while back, my sacral became like a rose pink, like a rose quartz pink. Maybe a year ago or so, my crown chakra completely changed into this golden lantern shape. And there have been loads of other extraordinary chakras that have come online in different places of the body and outside the body. And then most recently, all of those chakras, except for the angelic consciousness, earth star, and soul star, coalesced into a codified field. So I don't have any chakras as energy centers anymore. They're all everywhere. So Milena, be open and simply observe, and everybody simply observe how they appear to you at that time, because we are going through upgrades, and it will probably, and it makes a lot of sense that it would look different for different people. One chakra shifting here or there, changing color, changing shape. I have a client whose crown chakra turned into one of those flower crowns that they wear in like Ukraine, parts of Russia, that kind of thing. That was correct for her. So if you notice a shift, or complete change of the system, flow with it. That's correct for you if it feels good and right and aligned. And then the card, so somebody mentioned Metatron, and I was thinking, oh yeah, because Metatron had come up in a client session, I think yesterday or last week. And I thought, oh, I should be working with Metatron. I should be calling him in. And I heard, I'm already here. And Isis used to do the same. You can stop calling me in, I'm already here.
Right.
And so I have this Archangel deck, which I love so much. And I've been making a practice of pulling a card, communing with that energy and sitting with it for 3 or 4 days before moving on to the other one. So I can get much more familiarity and fluency with them. And so I pulled out my book and I opened it up and it's Metatron's page. So there's the validation.
Metatron is always with us.
Yeah, and it was just so, perfect, of course, yes, right here, didn't even have to, whatever, so there's that, and so while you guys were talking, I was sort of internally opening to that energy, and there's so many meditations where you call down Metatron and you call down the cube. I asked if there was a cube there, and it was just there, already there, and then it started to spin. And of course, the energy opened up and brightened and got very intense. And then in the center of my forehead, inside the head, and I don't know what this is, a gyroscope, a golden gyroscope was there with 7 rings and then golden white light at the middle, and it's all moving. So if anybody knows what that means, would care to expand my knowing in that would be awesome. But that when I was sitting there with my eyes closed, that was happening. So that's the story of what I was doing with my cards.
It's definitely some connection to frequency.
Metatron's with us.
Yeah. Would you mind reading the card? Would you be open to that?
Sure.
Can we finish out the call with that?
Yes. Only one of 2 angels who is said to have walked on the earth as a human being, the other being Sandalphon. Metatron's earthly name was Enoch. He is known as God's voice, and as the divine mediator with humanity, he sits at the very top of the tree of life in the Kabbalistic tradition. He helps us to connect with ancient wisdom so we can tap into our true genius. If you ask him, he will activate your DNA, crown, and upper chakras. When you're ready, he will illuminate your soul's mission so you may step on the ascension path and become the best version of yourself. So the DNA thing, in one of my sessions this morning, I called in divine liquid crystal. Thanks, Jules. To help because the shift was really big and I was feeling really ungrounded and her energy was ungrounded. So I called in the crystal and it came in as golden DNA and sort of like screwed down into the center of the body to help scaffold the chakras as the shift was occurring. So that was probably Metatron helping me out without me knowing. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I already said that. I don't remember if yes, I did. Early in my journey, while attending a healing workshop, I had an incredible experience with Metatron. As I called on him, my crown chakra opened and a rush of pure love shot through me. A golden light coursed through my body like a sudden electric shock. I could feel sparks of energy all over, within and around me. From the brilliant light emerged a massive golden angel. His feet were on earth, but his head was up amongst the stars. The remarkable thing about this experience was that it was entirely holographic in nature. I could see the angel from all angles, but it was also as though he had stepped into me, and I was experiencing the entire universe from his perspective. He was strangely angular, as though his body was made up of sacred geometric shapes. My own body was shaking from the raw power that surged through my nervous system. I had never before met such an immense being. I decided to ask his name. I am Metatron, came a booming voice that seemed to echo out of the heavens. Metatron showed me a large, multifaceted golden symbol, his geometric cube, which could be brought down through the energy field to elevate a person's vibration, cleanse, balance, and align their chakras, and provide deep healing and transformation. When I came around from the experience and opened my eyes, another healer who was assisting in the workshop had crossed the room of 50 people to deliver me a message. My darling, she said, I just saw that whole thing. The angels want me to tell you they have been waiting for you to work with them. They want you to write and teach about them. We looked down, and on the floor between our feet was a large white feather. I had not known it at the time, but I later learned that Metatron, as his image in the card reveals, is the angel of sacred geometry who governs the very building blocks of creation. And here's the message. You are crowned with the light of source because you are the divine incarnate. Walk upon the earth as an angel, and life shall conspire to lift you up. Wisdom is available to those who truly follow the integrity of their heart. And there's a sort of little quick guided meditation to meet Metatron. I don't know if we have time for that. Or I can take a picture and send it to you, Jules, to put in the group, perhaps.
Or you can post it in the group.
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay time-wise, if you want to, you think we could take like 5 minutes or so, or?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with keep doing it now. It seems like, it feels like it's the fluid thing to do. And Vicky's showing us the sun setting in Sarasota.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you for that Metatron energy. Totally. You're muted, honey.
And I'm over here cooking dinner. It's dark here.
That's funny.
Oh, I want to say it's so much whiter. There's a diamond-like essence to it that is very new. It's, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it is pure white.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Thank you,
Yeah.
Metatron.
Thank you, Metatron.
One other thing that came to me while I was reading this, with regard to the chakras, there is a lot that was necessary at the time in the place that humanity and the earth was at the time. As we are moving into and through 5D, some of those things are no longer necessary. So for some, perhaps defined energy centers are no longer necessary. So I think there's I feel a lot of freedom in claiming the opportunity to recognize, is this 3D or 5D? If it's 3D, do I choose to bring it with me? And it's up to me to choose yes or no. So that can be applied to programming, beliefs, systems, whatever.
Thank you
Okay.
for that. That was huge what you just said.
Okay. How to meet Metatron. Close your eyes. Imagine you're walking along a white, sandy beach. Up ahead in the distance, you see a huge geometric crystal palace on the shoreline. As you walk toward the palace, you notice it's glowing with white and gold light. You soon find yourself inside the palace with a huge pillar of golden white fire and electricity forming in front of you. It is as though the pillar is calling to you, and you feel it magnetized to the enticing light surging from high up above you down onto the earth. You step into the golden white column of fire and instantly connect with Archangel Metatron's potent energy. Once inside the pillar, you see it has become a large white alabaster obelisk. The interior walls of the crystalline structure are lined with golden sacred symbols, mysterious-looking cosmic glyphs, geometries, and fire letters. You ask Metatron for any messages he may have for you, and the golden symbols and fire letters begin to fly from the crystal obelisk into your energy field. The tall structure then morphs back into a golden white pillar of fire, and soon the angel himself is now towering over you. You receive a personal attunement to the angelic secrets of alchemy as golden geometric shapes and the medicinal properties of nature pour from his hands. Spend as long as you need to in this place, accessing healing and higher wisdom. When you have received all you need, allow Metatron to place a golden crown upon your head and a golden cloak around your shoulders. Return from the palace to where you began this visualization. When you're ready, open your eyes.
Lovely. Thank you. It's funny because when I experience Metatron, he's energy and symbols for me and patterns. I don't usually see the face. Like I don't usually see a person, it's more an energy.
Well, the shape of a person is just the form some need to connect with the energy, like chakras.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Mhm.
Something else I was going to say about it. I'm just looking up at I have Metatron and Michael as part of my altar. Statues of them. All right, cool. Well, without further ado, I will declare this call complete. And thank you for showing up today, and thank you everyone for this, your sharing and your contribution and the collaboration. This is really what this group is about. Collective creation, love, frequency, collaborative. That was it. And feel free to, share the recordings. I'll post some stuff underneath it when I post the recording. And feel free to invite others. Let's grow this. And it's not like a have to or a need to. It's just like we get to, right? Like who else would really benefit from this beautiful space that this group is. So thank you. Shannon?
Before we end completely,
So happy to be back.
and if you have a chance to, if we can complete the recording, I actually wanted to say something off of the recording.
Oh, hang on.